Class V. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. And we all know what's going on, that it does not matter who the host is. That is for sure. So I hope you've been having a grandioso time over the last 23, because it is definitely important. From when we get to hang out last to when we're hanging out now, making the assumption that it has only been 23 hours, well, I hope some good times have occurred. I hope some things have happened in the way that you wanted them to, on the way that maybe even potentially you have fantasized them to be. Anyways, today's Thursday, October the 13th of 2022. What does it matter? There's only 80 days left. Come on. There's only 80 days left before we get to the end of this thing. So as we are talking and hanging out on this marvelous Thursday, and then that junior day that some people reference this as, which still makes no sense to me in whatever fashion you want to take a look at it. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
So, going across on all the stuff that they do. So it's a good time as we are doing the stuff. So today will be an interesting one, because I think that we're just going to cover a whole plethora of news. We're going to cover a whole plethora of things that are going on. Last night, I had the fantastic opportunity to be involved with a class out of the West Coast. So that was some fun times yesterday evening. And I know I don't always talk about the classes that we do. I'm still in that virtual world for a lot of the stuff that I do. And the reason that I say that is because I don't know. If I can avoid traveling, I do. And if I can do everything virtual, I do. So there you go. Not that I'm anti anything. I'm just saying that's normally how it goes. So, but just in case, because I know I haven't talked about it in some time, I still think, I was thinking maybe it should be an event. Maybe we should do something. I'm still thinking maybe we should go to Mexico in November. I still think that it would be a good idea to go down there, hang out. And I have narrowed it down to Quintana Roo. So just in case if you're trying to figure out what Quintana Roo is, that is where like Tulum, Playa del Carmen, and good old Cancun are all based out of. So I'm thinking that November should be the month that we should give it some consideration and going down there. What are we at? So, I know it's like 17 days before the month starts, but just some stuff to think about here, there, everywhere. Anyways, that's not important. Just reference the piece. How cool would it be to meet up and do some things down there? Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick about what we were seeing coming across on, that trending ending thing, because that always seems to be slightly important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about the trends that was going on. Sometimes I wonder if they're the trends or if they're the headlines, because it seems like a combination of both things. The House Select Committee is investigating last year's Capitol riot and is gearing up to hold a final hearing today. There won't be any live witnesses, but the witness testimony and documented from the Secret Service will be presented to the committee, and the documents will reportedly provide insight into the attempts to protect the vice president, which was Pence at the time, just in case if you forgot. So that was making the rounds yesterday. Also, Truth Social has been approved for the Google Play Store. Google confirmed on Wednesday that the right-wing social media app backed by the president, Donald Trump, will now be downloadable to Android smartphones through its App Store. The app was approved after it implemented policies against hate speech and content that incites violence. What else did we see according to the trends? Still no verdict in the sentencing trial of the Parkland, Florida school shooter. 7 men and 5 women are being sequestered in what judges say is the top secret location with no phones, TV, or other electronics. I hope there's lights. Prosecutors want the jury to give Nicholas Cruz the death penalty. Cruz has confessed to the murder of 17 people. What else did we see in the trends ends? Was authorities in Oklahoma are searching for 4 men who have been missing since Sunday. Authorities said they were still seen on Sunday, reported on bicycles. There's no evidence indicating a violent or foul play, and the search of the 4 men will resume today. A couple more here. New York City is providing free naloxone kits to nightclubs to help prevent fatal overdoses. Mayor Adams' legislation yesterday said that it directs the city's health department to offer regularly training to employees in the nightlife establishments to ensure that they are equipped to respond to potential overdoses on site. And last but not least, R&B singer Brandy is being hospitalized after suffering a possible seizure at her home in Los Angeles. The TMZ says that the singer was taken to the hospital by ambulance on Tuesday and that her parents have been with her as she recovers. No details were given about what may have caused the incident. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. So let's talk about this real quick. If you're not familiar with the show, let's talk about some other aspects of what is done inside of this one. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We give you a little bit of everything that's going on, package it up, and get it back to you. Just in regards of what we can find out of what is going on inside of the world of safety and news. And then we bring in some professional broadcasters and let them talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world. I come back in and then I will uncover what they didn't cover. Because, I'm the uncoverer, apparently, is what it seems like. So with that being said, if you want to interact with the show, it's kind of a simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Yes, that's a website, callinradio.com. That will let you call in, video chat in, and do all kinds of fun stuff. And yes, I have this bad habit that I only look at the messages. So I apologize because I know some people get offended. It's like, you invited me. No, I didn't avoid you. I was in the middle of doing something else. That's kind of normally how it goes. So with that being said, I think it is time for us to bring you the news. So let's go ahead and do that ahora, because I think it will be the best time on doing so.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is being ordered to pay nearly $1 billion to families of 8 victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting. Mark Mayfield fills us in.
Already found liable by a judge over his repeated claims that the 2012 school massacre was a hoax, plaintiffs allege that Jones profited off the claims and caused his followers to harass the victims' families. Deliberations started in the trial last Thursday with the 15 individual awards yesterday, ranging from almost $30 million to $120 million.
Los Angeles City Councilwoman Nuri Martinez is announcing her resignation after being caught on tape making racist remarks. Democrats, including President Biden, urged her and 2 other council members to quit. Council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon are also under pressure to resign. The trio was heard making racist remarks about blacks, Jews, Armenians, dark-skinned Latinos, and others. California's Attorney General is now investigating. A Democratic senator fighting to keep his seat in a hotly contested race is leading his high-profile opponent. Lisa Taylor has more.
That's according to a Quinnipiac University poll focused on the U.S. Senate race in Georgia. The survey found Raphael Warnock leads Republican Herschel Walker 52 to 45%. That's almost unchanged from a poll conducted last month. The results come after a recent report alleged Walker paid for an ex-girlfriend to get an abortion several years ago.
Pioneering space tourist Dennis Tito has booked a private trip to the moon. In a press conference Wednesday, Tito said he and his wife bought seats on a private trip aboard a SpaceX Starship rocket. No date has been announced yet for the mission. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know why our host has a face for radio.
Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Ukraine's allies have announced deliveries of advanced air defence weapons for Kiev. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has been told to pay nearly $1 billion in compensation to victims of the Sandy Hook shooting. UK postal workers are staging a fresh strike in a long-running dispute over pay and conditions, and the murder of 2 women in what's believed to be a human sacrifice has shocked India.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Hurricane Ian relief efforts are getting a big boost after a weekend benefit concert in Sarasota. Rick Hoschel has details.
Hundreds gathered on Friday night at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall for the concert by the Sarasota Orchestra. Through ticket sales, on-site donations, and online fundraising, more than $56,000 was raised for the Community Foundation of Sarasota County's Suncoast Disaster Recovery Fund. With a matching grant from the Patterson Foundation, the total amount raised exceeded $112,000.
A new launch date is on the calendar for the Artemis 1 moon mission. NASA says they're aiming for November 14th to once again attempt to send an uncrewed spacecraft around the moon and back to Earth. The mission has experienced several setbacks, including technical issues and Hurricane Ian. The space agency says recent inspections have shown positive feedback, and the equipment could return to the launch pad as soon as early next month. AC/DC is releasing a children's picture book to help teach preschoolers the alphabet. The AC/DC BCDC High Voltage Alphabet will be available Friday via Love Police Books. It's the latest in a series of music-centered books from the publisher. Managing Director Brian Toronto says Love Police looks forward to educating another generation of rock and rollers.
I'm bright like a diamond.
Former American Idol runner-up Willie Spence is dead at the age of 23. TMZ reports Spence died in a car accident when he struck a parked vehicle as he was heading from Tennessee to his home in Georgia. He was the runner-up in 2021 during season 19, losing to Chase Beckham. Spence went on to release an EP titled The Voice. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, if you believe in magic, because I know you do. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. Anyways, currently 18 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. You know, if we would have been one more day into the future and not the date change, that would have been Friday the 13th, which could have been some fun times. But let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about some other things, because there is a lot going on inside of the world as we are talking. I don't even know if we should talk about this, but I guess we should. So the Penguin to be picked up a week after The Batman ending, a spinoff of the 2022 hit. The Batman is picking up almost right where the film left off. Trey Thomas has more info.
Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. The Penguin starts 1 week after The Batman ended, with star Colin Farrell saying the series will run around 6 to 8 hours. Farrell will play the lead character in the spinoff to the massive box office hit, which grossed almost $800 million worldwide. Filming is set to begin early next year. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so I hope you don't age within that timeline, because that's going to make it kind of an interesting one for sure. Anyways, police Police in Georgia say that they believe that a toddler who has been missing for a week is dead. Mark Mayfield has more info.
The mother of 20-month-old Quentin Simon has been named as the prime suspect in his disappearance and death. Simon was reported missing last week from his home near Savannah. More than 40 FBI agents were involved in the search for him. Authorities in Chatham County say they'll hold a briefing Thursday to give more details. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one. You know, that's some of those things that I start thinking about. If you have a toddler, and I know that it's difficult in regards of, being able to take care sometimes of some of the younger children, but you know that they're very interactive with the most part. So how do they go missing? It's always kind of a weird question that does come about. Take a listen to this real quick. A fired employee is suing University of Michigan Health West, alleging that the health system violated her religious rights when she refused to provide referrals or gender reassignment surgeries and procedures. Attorney Kayla Toney says that her client, Valerie Clusterman, and her First Amendment rights were violated after the hospital system became part of the health system.
Some questions with HR about this training and asked for a religious accommodation. They insulted her religious beliefs. They called her evil.
Klosterman was a physician's assistant for 17 years with health systems, but was required to go through a diversity and inclusion training. Tony says that her client's free speech rights were violated by the hospital system, requiring the use of certain pronouns. The complaint alleges that the hospital responded by stating that she would be adding to gender dysmorphia-related suicides. Professor Michael McDaniel with Cooley Law School says that the physician assistant has an uphill battle and that the cases that cited in the complaint are different from what happened.
The First Amendment was to assure tolerance of others, that not only do we get to speak what we believe to be our truths and our beliefs, but others get to do so as well, and that we're not going to punish others.
You know, and that's kind of one of those interesting things there, because when we start talking about people doing complaints and talking about cases and previous cases that were about and all that kind of interesting stuff, if you start tying in things or other cases that have absolutely nothing to do with what you're going through, it is exactly that. It is a uphill battle that you're going to go through in regards of what is going to happen next. There is no doubt about it. So some things to think about as we are talking here. That's for sure.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, we talked about this yesterday, so let's talk about it a little bit more, and that's that Los Angeles City Council, because we need to be talking about this. So the Los Angeles City Council is considering holding tomorrow's meeting virtually amid the ongoing controversy about leaked racist recordings. Both the prior meetings this week were delayed or adjourned because of the rowdy protesters calling for the resignation of now former Councilwoman Nury Martinez and Councilman Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo.
Nury Martinez nor Gil Cedillo nor Kevin De Leon will be in chambers today. This meeting is adjourned.
Acting Council President Mitch O'Farrell is expected to decide on whether tomorrow's meeting will happen in person or will it be streamed. Protesters are calling for the entire council to suspend operations until De Leon and Cedillo join Martinez in resignation. So hold on. So suspend all operations. Protesters are saying that. So, I mean, I get it. Certain things you shouldn't say, period. Especially if you said something and then it's on a recording. I don't even know what the hell's being investigated because, I mean, there's going to be a certain aspect where you go, so it's being investigated. We have the recording, so what are we talking about? So here's the consideration. If you're going to do a meeting and you're not sure what to do it streaming. Yes, you can have protests in the box, depending if you let people make comments. You can have people speak inside of the box as well. So there's just some thoughts to think about. Anyways, acting LA City Council President Mitch O'Farrell is among those urging De Leon and Cedillo to step down.
And Mr. De Leon to resign their positions so this city can move on.
So it'll be interesting to see what ends up coming about it out of this whole thing, and I am sure that we will be talking about this relatively soon. Anyways, a Colorado astronaut is making her way back to Earth this week after being in outer space for 6 months. Boulder County's native Jessica Watkins, who made history in becoming the first black woman to journey onto the International Space Station for an extended mission, returns home with her crew today.
Really grateful to be a part of a long legacy of black astronauts that have come before me.
The 34-year-old Watkins, and geologist and researcher on the top of her tenure with NASA since April. She has her fellow astronauts have her been capturing the Earth's beauty, working on science investigations in the lab, studying immune systems and microgravity and aging in space. in gardening. Oh, God, why do we have to talk about aging in space? Because you know how that's going to go. If you know that things are going well in regards of how people age in space, people are going to be like, well, I might need to move to space because I don't want to age. And I mean, maybe I'm a little bit jaded at the moment because I've really been taking some deep dives into some information related to plastic surgery. And now that I'm planning on getting plastic surgery, so let me make sure that I'm clear on what I'm saying here. But it's just one of those weird things on the stuff that's going on. Anyways, with that being said, it is currently 26 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's bring some John Smalls in here. Let him tell us about what the hell is going on inside of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, October 13th, 2022. Equity markets wavered Wednesday following some stronger than expected inflation data and hawkish commentary from the FOMC. On the inflation front, the PPI index advanced at a 0.4% month-over-month pace to double the expectations and leave the year-over-year figure up 8.5% from last year and at a record level. In regard to the FOMC, the Fed released the minutes from the last meeting and reinforced the idea that interest rates will move higher and stay higher for the foreseeable future. Today's big news will be the CPI index, which is expected to cool a bit from last month. The takeaway from the PPI report, however, is that producer-level inflation is still running hot and underpinning gains in consumer-level inflation. In this scenario, the CPI may cool versus last month, but it should be expected to remain high and or accelerate over the next few months to the next half a year. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Smalls, for that information right there, because it's always important what he has to say in regards of what is going on. Take a listen to this. A woman is facing charges for a gruesome death of her landlord, whose remains were found in a home in Chicago's North Side. Police revealed the possible motive why Sandra Kalawa murdered Francis Walker.
The person who owns the residence had actually served the defendant with like a notice to leave or an eviction notice. And that was done very recently.
Kaloa is charged with murder, concealing homicidal death, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Police say that Walker's dismembered body was found on Monday in a freezer in the home of a 5900 block of whatever avenue, because it really doesn't matter where it's at. She was missing before the discovery was made. I mean, I'm just trying to think about this real quick. Your landlord gave you an eviction notice. And yeah, I understand times are rough, but your solution was to potentially, allegedly, to murder the person, dismember them, and put them in a freezer. A freezer! Like, I don't get it. It's so confusing.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, maybe we should talk about something a little bit more positive. America's two big lottery games both have jackpots worth over $450 million.
It's time to play America's favorite jackpot game. This is Powerball.
Nobody matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday night's Powerball drawing, so now the jackpot rolls over for the Saturday drawing, which will be worth at least $454 million. The Mega Millions lottery will have its drawing Friday night. That jackpot is now up to $494 million. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so I'm going to do this, which I normally don't do, and we're going to take that step into doing something relatively brave, because I don't like talking about this stuff. So let's do it. Let's do Today in Politics.
Biden says the U.S. Supreme Court is more of an advocacy group these days. The president made that remark during a virtual fundraiser for a Delaware congresswoman. It's the latest criticism that Biden has leveled at the nation's highest court. He has voiced his displeasure multiple times since the court overturned Roe v. Wade earlier this year. President Biden says the war in Ukraine is hurting civilians.
Same as always, man. It's brutal. It's beyond the pale.
Speaking with reporters, Biden said there's been no move towards discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin in relation to imprisoned WNBA star Brittany Griner. Biden was asked if he thinks Democrats will keep control of the Senate seat in Georgia that's up for election, to which he replied yes. That contest pits Republican Herschel Walker against Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. And today, after visiting Colorado on Wednesday, Biden will join California Congresswoman Karen Bass and other officials to see progress on public transit projects in L.A. County that were made possible through the bipartisan infrastructure law. That's politics. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, so there you go. We did talk about some politics stuff. I know we normally don't do it. Sometimes we have to do it, and that seemed like the perfect moment on doing so. Anyways, Port of San Diego commissioner says that they're open to developers using public money to help build a new seaport village. Jack Cronin has more.
We're asking the Port of San Diego for $550 million in public funding to help pay for the $3.6 billion Seaport Village project that will stretch from the Midway Museum to the Convention Center. The Union Tribune says during the latest update, Port commissioners signaled they were open to using the public money to pay for infrastructure and other upgrades on site. The funding could come from a number of sources, including property, entertainment, or hotel taxes on site, and would also need the cooperation of the city and county in addition to the port. Approval for the project could come as soon as next month. I'm Jack Cronin.
Okay, thank you, Jack Cronin, for that info right there. So some interesting times if things happen. It is currently 32 minutes past top of the hour, so let's do it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So it's main story time. We hang out, we talk about it, we do things that are virtually important, and sometimes are even more than just virtual, but they're super important with what is going on inside of our world. So, yes, listen, I know that we take some dives into some things that people want to talk about in regards of the mentality aspect of what's going on inside of the work, what's going on inside of work, what's going on inside of your mind, what's going on in regards of people buying stupid awards, all that kind of fun stuff. Well, today it's nothing like that. Today is the conversation, and it's not accident investigation. It's not incident investigation, but what do you, yes, let's make sure that we understand, what do you do when you have a serious incident, accident, or a fatality at your workplace? What do you do? Now, listen, I'm going to tell you real quick. I used to work for a pretty prominent retailer that is no longer in business is really the way to put it. And this was one of the first incidents or big incidents that I had ever seen take place. There was a young lady that I don't have to go into the details of what occurred or that led to this moment, but there was a young lady that went to the middle of the sales floor, and she had been told that she was being terminated, and somehow got to the middle of the sales floor with a box cutter in hand and sliced her wrist in the middle of the sales floor. Now, I will tell you, this person was a manager at this location, and all of the sales associates, or the ones, a good chunk of them, I shouldn't say all of them, saw what happened. Of course, immediately the general manager ran to this person as this was going on to make sure that she was going to be okay. Called ambulances, people came in, and things were being resolved. She's still alive to this day. Just want to make sure that we're clear here. But, of course, the impact that it had on the person that had the incident, and, of course, the impact on the people that were around them that saw what was going on. Now, the company at the time, they decided to bring in an emergency HR teams, is how it was referred to. And they could actually talk to people about what had triggered to them mentally on what they saw. Now, of course, the young lady that did this ended up going through counseling. but it was a scene at an event. It was an event that occurred. Yes, you could sit here and have all kinds of conversations. Root cause, why was there a box cutter, this, that. I mean, we could talk about all that stuff. But what I really want the main focus to be, what do you do when you have a major incident or accident currently at your workplace? Now, listen, if you are sitting there right now or walking or doing whatever you're doing and you tell me, I don't know, like that's the answer, well, there's a couple of things here. If you don't know, I get it. Sometimes we just don't know what's going on inside of our organizations at times. But the other side is, let's have the discussion today on what plans are in place to get this to work. And if there are none, let's do something about changing that. Let's do something to make sure that we have something in place for an incident or an accident or a fatality. Because I think that sometimes we tend to forget that these things are bound to happen. It's not if, but when. I know people don't love hearing that, but it is the reality of the business that we're in. And if you don't have a plan in place, you definitely need one. And I'm not talking about just a checklist. I'm talking about having something that if something was to even happen to you, people would know what to do. It's an interesting one because we don't think about these things until something happens. And let's be realistic. At that time of this occurring at my former employer, I didn't know what to do. Safety wasn't even a topic of conversation that I was sitting around and having with people. But this is something that I think that we need to talk about in regards of what do you do? So if you do not have a plan, if you don't have the information on what needs to be done, consider making that available or coming up with a strategy now. Yes, now.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large Gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio. Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
This still is the Rated R Safety Show. Coming across on Safety FM and Radio Big. This right here, just so you can know, is Wolf Club. Song title, Can't Stop Falling in Love. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes. No, seriously, readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Can't Stop Falling in Love with you. So there you go, some good times right there. Thanks to Wolf Club for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on this lovely Thursday. So let's start talking about some stuff that's happening, moving and grooving and all that, because it's going to be importante. And let me tell you about my friends real quick at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support to people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can text the word TALK to 988 or just give a little phone call to 988. And of course, at 988lifeline.org, there's also a chat box if you decide to go that route. Listen, people go through struggles. Sometimes we have some mental distress going on, and we need someone to talk to. And there are resources that are available to you. So all you have to do is just go to the website, 988lifeline.org, and that will get you going down the correct path. The correct path, that is for sure. Let's talk real quick about some things that are going on inside of this world of ours as we are hanging out on this Thursday. Let's talk about leave of the leaves. Yeah, the leave of the leaves. Here it is, your annual excuse not to rake the leaves that is piling higher than your lawn by the day. The Nature Conservatory of Canada has a green-friendly response for those who'd like to avoid the back-breaking, callus-creating task of clearing the leaves. Just don't do it. Yeah, Nike says just do it. We're telling you, just don't do it. Why not? Well, there are 3 major benefits to keeping the leaves in your yard during the fall. First, it helps biodiversity, as there are many native insects and small critters such as frogs, toads, that will hibernate under the leaves during the winter, as well as it's a food source for birds such as robins, since they will often flip leaves over to look for insect seeds. The other benefits is that, well, it's for the lawn itself. The leaves provide a natural mulch that they break down, which helps the soil development, while piles of leaves can impact the growth of grass and other plants. Come spring, a thin layer of leaves can help maintain the health of gardens and lawns. My neighbors will be so happy about this. I mean, I just wanted to talk about this, to hear that he doesn't have to blow them onto my yard this year. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll be pretty excited about that. Leaves provide a food source for birds, and I didn't even know that they could cook. So there's something to think about. I mean, it's kind of funny talking about my neighbor real quick and about raking leaves and not having to blow them over. There is a strip between my neighbor's yard and my yard. And I mean, I'm talking about like a little tiny patch of grass. And depending on the crew that comes out to mow my lawn, they sometimes don't take care of it. And neither does the neighbor. And it's been the big debate of whose section of the lawn it is. And I was like, this is just ridiculous that we go this far about lawn protection, because there's nothing else going on. It's definitely lawn protection. No other way to look at it. Anyways, a doctor has supposedly finally settled the age-old argument about whether you should keep condiments in the fridge or in the pantry. Australian News Corp columnist Dr. Zach Turner was asked by a reader where some of our favorite condiments, including ketchup, peanut butter, and raspberry jam, should go. He wrote, "I hope you are sitting down for this, because I'm afraid to tell you that tomato sauce, which is like ketchup, Vegemite, and peanut butter, do not need to be refrigerated." He added that similar condiments such as barbecue sauce and mustards don't need to be refrigerated due to their high intensity in processing. And about after that, they opened through their eyes. Doctor said that they still don't need to be refrigerated because the very heavily bacteria growth in them. But he reminds us that to read the labels to know for sure what is the best place to store them based on what the manufacturer says. I never put peanut butter in the fridge, me personally. There's not enough room for the candles. I mean, I'm just saying. Yes, and I did say candles. You know that what else doesn't go in the refrigerator? The letter D. But there is one in fridge. Explain that. Yeah, somebody explain that to me. Maybe somebody should contact Dr. Zach Turner to find out what's going on.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, it is 51 minutes past the top of the hour. It is time to get John Small inside of here and do some Motivation Minute stuff.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Luke. George Bernard Shaw said, "People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it." I love that. For some reason, this quote really hits home to me. I remember early in my broadcasting career, I learned that "we can't do that" has more than one interpretation. It can mean it really is impossible to do that, or it could mean we don't want to do that, so just move on. I pushed the envelope when I was younger, so I remember a few times when I was told something was not possible. Then I just went ahead and proved that it was. That was not always popular with management, by the way. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Resetting your sleep and wakefulness rhythms can be done very fast if done right. Beautiful studies by Dr. Kenneth Wright of University of Colorado show that exposure to natural light around sunrise and sunset for 2 days is very effective in creating a long-lasting reset for circadian rhythms, alertness, sleep, and for hormones such as melatonin and cortisol. These are not small effects. People often ask how long they need to view sunlight at these times, and really the answer depends on how much cloud coverage there is. But in general, it's 10 to 30 minutes. Don't stare directly into the sun, of course. Try not to wear sunglasses for these 10 to 30 minutes, but eyeglasses or contact lenses are fine, even if they have UV protection. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Always some stuff moving, grooving, and all that. 53 minutes past the top of the hour. So I got a question. Yesterday we briefly spoke about the new good old Quest headset. Did you go give it a look? Be honest. I was kind of curious myself. So I went to go look at it. I kept on saying that it was closer to $1,600. It's $1,500. Yes, $1,500 for the new VR headset that's being provided out there by good old Meta. Anyway, so with that being said, I was so excited about the tech moment from yesterday. I said, why don't we do it again today?
Is launching that uses artificial intelligence and promises to be toxicity-free. It's called Wilder, and the company's founder says she wants users to join and enjoy a positive, kind, empathetic social network where users can express themselves without fear of hateful comments or never-ending arguments. General Motors offering a new business that focuses on energy systems. The company will be known as GM Energy and will feature public charging networks for electric vehicles. Officials say they'll also offer a wide range of products, including vehicle-to-home charging stations, stationary storage facilities, solar products, and software applications. GM says they've lined up a number of what they call large-scale companies to work with them. A home energy system will become available in 2024. And according to a Yahoo News report on Tuesday, Elon Musk reportedly rejected a request from Ukraine to extend his Starlink satellite internet service to Russian-occupied Crimea. He's afraid that an attempt to retake Crimea from Russian forces could lead to a nuclear war. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Always some interesting stuff going on inside of the Tech Report. Take a listen to this real quick under Did You Know? New York will become the first U.S. city to test a new vehicle system that could stop drivers from speeding by recognizing speed limits and either issuing visual or audible alerts and preventing vehicles from going above those speed limits. The speed limiting technology recommended by the National Transportation Safety Board will be installed in 50 city fleet vehicles after more than 20,000 deaths in the U.S. roadways this year alone. The NTSB has called for the government incentive car makers to put speed limiting systems in new cars. I've already got one of these features. It's called My Marriage License, just in case. just in case if you were wondering. Anyways, if you're looking for some reasons to party today, I got some of those for you. It's International Day for Failure. That's a day to show stupidity, error estimation, awkward moments, and other failures for the world. Why without the possibility of failure? Well, there's no success. They go hand in hand. So that's what I've got that's coming to me. So there you go. It's also International Day of Disaster Reduction, International Plain Language Day, No Bra Day. Yeah, that's part of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the same day of, of the mammogram that you're supposed to take. So that's to go get, the breast cancer awareness stuff. It's the goal for women to be screened for breast cancer. So there you go. If you want to participate in No Bra Day, feel free to do so. Suit Up Day is another one. National M&M Day. Blue M&Ms were introduced back in 1995. From 1976 to 1985, there were no red M&Ms, just to give you some M&M information. So there you go. And then Silly Saying Day is the other thing that you can celebrate today if you want to do it that way. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out, as I get to go over there for the next couple of hours or so and do the music scene. And you talk about the world of entertainment and all that kind of fun stuff. All you have to do is go to RadioBig.fm, or you can find us on TuneIn Radio or iHeartRadio. Yes, Radio Big is located on both of those. If you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. When my daughter was 7, she once interrupted a bedtime story to tell me in a pie eating contest, it doesn't matter if you win or lose because you got to eat pie. I think about that a lot, just so you know. The other thing, if you need a phone starter for today, try this one. My favorite autumn thing to do is, and please don't tell me pumpkin spice lattes. Please don't tell me that, because that's not what I want to hear. What else? Question. 46% of people say that they would do this along with a good friend. What is it? Do you know? 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 It's get a tattoo. Yeah. I think that that's something you should do with a good friend. I remember my first tattoo. I got it with 2 good friends. He got a spider and I got a band logo. Yeah, that's how that happened back in the day. I remember we were out passing out religious tracts to people to convert them. Yep, that's what happened back in the day. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Radio Big and Safety FM, and I know at some point this thing becomes a podcast just for the sake of saying so. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we could not do what we do around here. Thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on today. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I want to tell you this one. Imperfection is beauty. Madness is genius, and it is better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. And I would love for you to absolutely think about that today. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.